Hello everyone, my name is Alvaro Soto and my project is about AWS Lysol. What is AWS Lysol? Lysol is an environment in AWS for new developers to initiate in the cloud services. Lysol provides simplified versions of AWS services to quickly get web applications and websites up and running. The best part is that it is a starting point for new developers. Therefore, Lysol has free tier services and low prices. The services that it offers are instances, containers, simplified load balancers, upgrade to EC2, managed databases, block and object storage, CDN distributions, and access to AWS services. The project and objective. We're going to be hosting a web application in the Lysol environment. First, a Lysol instance will be created to host the web application. Next, a Lysol bucket will be created and integrated with the instance. After, a load balancer will be created and used to access the web application. Then, a snapshot of the instance will be created and used to create another instance. Finally, the project will be migrated into Amazon EC2. First, we're going to log in into AWS, and then we're going to search for Lysol. We're going to click on Create a New Instance. In the instance location, we can see the default is Virginia. In the select platform, we're going to be using Linux. And in the blueprint, even though we have multiple templates, we're using OS only. We're going to be selecting Amazon Linux 2023. In the optional, we're going to be providing a launch script. This script is going to update the packages. We're going to be installing Git, Node.js, Forever, and the Angular CLI. For the purpose of this project to run smoothly, we can use the $10 package. We can give a name. So this is going to be instance 1 spaces key only tags or key value tags. It's going to be instance and the value is going to be 1. And then we're going to click on create an instance. Once it is running, we can click on the name. We can go into the networking tab. We can see over here the public IP, IPv4, the private IPv4. We can also see the IP for firewall, and it only has 2 rules. The first one is the SSH connection using port 22, and the second one is the HTTP using port 80. Then we go back to the Connect tab, and we click on the Connect using SSH. Okay, once it is done, we can check if the packages have been installed. We use different commands. If it shows that the command is not found, we just gotta wait a few seconds. What we're gonna do now is we're going to clone the project from a provided Git repository. And the folder is there. Perfect. Now we're gonna go into the folder. We're gonna install the packages that the project needs. Okay. Once it is done, we're gonna host the web application. Once it is done building, we're gonna get this confirmation message. We can go back to the Lysol screen, and we can see over here that we can connect to this instance by using this IP address. And this is what we're going to do. And we're going to connect to it. The first time it might take a few seconds. They're not loading the images. It's fine. Now we're going to be creating a Lysol bucket. On the left menu, we're going to be going to storage. We click on create a bucket. We gotta make sure that the location of the bucket is the same as the location of the instance. We can select the 5 gigabyte bucket. We can give a unique name, and we click on create a bucket. Once it is done, click on the objects tab. We click on upload. We click on file. Then we're gonna be uploading the 2 images provided. We click on open. and they're done. We can see the details of the images. We can click on the checkbox. If we want to open the image, we can go ahead and click on the image name hyperlink. And as we can see, we get an access denied. We're going to see if we have access through our instance to that bucket. And as we can see, we get an access denied error. So we go back to our Lysol, and then we go to permissions tab. Under resource access, we can click on attach an instance. We're going to be able only to select an instance from the same region. This is going to be Virginia, and we only have one, instance one. Then we click on attach. Now we can go back to our connection. We can run the same command. This is one of the nice features about AWS Lysol. It simplifies the process for new developers. We go back to Lysol on the permissions and bucket access permissions, and we're going to click on change permissions. And we're going to be selecting all objects are public and read-only. We click save, and now we get a warning. We're going to click I understand. We're going to click yes, save. Now we can go back to the objects tab, and we can click on any image, and we can click on the hyperlink, and now they load. Now we're going to go back to our connection to go to the first screen, and we can use nano to modify files. So we do nano and the name of the file. We go back to the window with the open image, and we copy the URL, and we provide the new URL. There you go. Now to save the file, we can do Ctrl O, and then we click enter to make sure that we're using the same file name, and then we do Ctrl X. Now we're gonna do the same with the other screen. We can host the website again. It might take a few seconds to load. So, and as we can see, in the first screen, we see the Snoopy image. Now we're gonna be creating a load balancer for our application. So on the left menu, we go to the networking tab. We're going to be clicking on create load balancer. We can see we can specify the region. We're going to keep it the same. The initial configuration is HTTP. It is enabled. That's good. We can identify the load balancer 1. Yes. Now we can create the load balancer. Now that we have created the load balancer, we can specify the instances we want to use it with. In the drop-down, there's only one option, instance 1. That's good. And we click on attach to save the changes. Once the instance finishes attaching itself to a load balancer, we can see over here that the health check has passed. Now we can use the DNS name. We click on it. It opens a new window. And boom, we can access our website from the load balancer. Now we're going to be creating a snapshot of the instance. So we can go back to instances, and we click on our instance name. Then we click on snapshots, and we can create a manual snapshot. And we click on create. We can give it a name. It could be instance 1, 3, and we click on create. It can take up to 2 minutes, but once it is done, we're gonna get this. Now on the 3 dots on the right, we're gonna have multiple options. So we click on create a new instance. We can change the location of the instance, and that's what we're gonna do. We want to have some high availability, so we're gonna change the location of this new instance. We can set it to any other. We're gonna identify the instance. It's gonna be instance 2, and we're gonna change the value to 2. Then we can create instance. Now that the instance is running, we can go back to networking. We select the load balancer that we have, and we can see that we can attach another instance. So we have available instance 2, we click on attach. Okay, once the instance is done attaching, we can see that the health check is failed because we haven't run and hosted our web application in that instance. In our instance 2, we can click on this icon and it will open the SSH connection. Go into our project folder and we can run the command to host our application. And we go back to our instance. We copy the IP address and we can go ahead and open that IP address in the web browser. It might take a few seconds to completely build and load. Now, Lysol provides a process to migrate into EC2. Now we're going to go into snapshots. We can click on the down arrow. And on the right, we're going to see three dots. We're going to click on them. We're going to click on Export to Amazon EC2. We get a warning confirmation pop-up window. We can read everything and then we click on Just Continue. We get a second warning pop-up message stating that if we use the default key to connect to the instance of this snapshot, we need to replace it with our own key pair. We acknowledge that we know of this. And then over here on the top, in the task monitor, we can see that the process is running. Once it is done, we're going to see below task history. So it shows exported to Amazon EC2. Perfect. You got two hyperlinks. We can click on open the Amazon EC2 console. It will take us to a new window and it will display the Amazon machine image. Snapshots, we got the snapshot over here. We can click on the task monitor again and we can click on the second link. Create a new Amazon EC2 instance, but this time it's going to be done through Lysol. And this is just kind of a wizard. It will take you step by step explaining the differences between Lysol instances and EC2 instances. And one last thing is just a warning that this time we're creating an instance out of Lysol and in EC2. And we can click on create resources in EC2. Thank you so much.